Welcome back. It is me, your friendly neighborhood lesbian, here once again to spread the gay agenda. This time, upon request. The other day, I was hanging out with my friends and one of them asked me to make a video essay about Surf's Up, and I went, yes, but how can I make it gay? Turns out, I did not have to try very hard. Now, if you haven't seen Surf's Up and have been living under a rock for the past 17 years, I think. I'm horrible at math. It came out in 2007. Let me just read you the film synopsis real quick before we get into the part. Surfing means everything to teenage penguin Cody Maverick. Followed by a documentary film crew, he leaves his home in Antarctica for Pengu Island, site of the Big Z Memorial Surf-Off. Cody wants to be respected and admired, and he believes that winning the competition will bring him what he craves. However, an encounter with washed-up surfer Zeke teaches Cody about what is truly important. Now, you might hear that description and think, how is that in any way gay? That just sounds like a very straightforward surfing mockumentary with animated penguins, you know. But if you watch carefully, you can pick up on some undertones. I took notes. This entire movie, whether or not they intended it, is a gay allegory. It's very obvious to me, at least, from like the opening line of the movie. We're gonna go through all of my notes, and by the end of this, you will agree with me. Now, just to be clear, this is not going to be a concise retelling of the plot. This is just going to be me going through my notes about why I think this movie is a queer movie. So the movie starts off in Shiverpool, which is Cody's small town in Antarctica. Everybody knows everybody in this small town, and they all think Cody is weird because he loves surfing. You know what surfing is a metaphor for? Homosexuality. Okay, from the very beginning, the way his mom talks about him, he's very clearly the black sheep of the town. He says he's not very impressive. He doesn't live up to the expectations of his brother. Like, he's not doing the things that people in the town are supposed to be doing. There's even a scene of Cody's brother sitting on an egg talking about how Cody doesn't value these traditional family values and he's not gonna step up and hatch an egg. He just wants to spend all his time surfing. He doesn't care about starting a family. A quote from his brother is that he needs to step up and be a man. What does that sound like to you? That sounds like, to me, coming from small town America, being like, well, you can't be gay because how are you going to have a family? And you were supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. Blah, 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 blah. There's also this whole thing about, like, can't remember any part of my life where I wasn't surfing. Surfing has always been a part of Cody's identity, just like being gay. Also, Cody, just as a character throughout the whole film, very much has the whole gay people, like, I can do anything mentality. Has he ever surfed big waves not in Antarctica? No, but he's still like, yeah, I can go win a surfing competition. Has he ever made his own surfboard? But he's still like, no, I'm gonna make, like, he's just like, no, I can do this. If I put my mind to it, I can do it. Which is just every gay person ever. I would also just like to showcase this beautiful photo of a freshly hatched Cody and his brother. It is one of the greatest images I have ever seen in my life, and I just need everybody to appreciate it. Okay. In one of the early interviews with Cody and his family, the interviewer asks Cody what his dream is, and he responds, to go away. That is every queer person trapped in a small, judgy town. You just want to leave. You want to see what else is out there. You want to go somewhere where you will be accepted for who you are and people aren't going to judge you for surfing or liking girls or liking boys. Now, as we move into the whole recruitment section, I first want to address Mikey, the bird. The clearly homosexual recruiting bird who used to be a show business bird. If you watch the movie, there is no explanation needed as to why Mikey is a homosexual. He just has such estranged wealthy uncle who lives in New York with his roommate and collects art and is really passionate about musical theater and interior design. That's the vibes. Like the stressed out uncle who is like, oh my god, I have to like organize this like benefit gala for some, you know the vibes that I'm talking. It's estranged New York art gay uncle. That is Mikey the bird. Except for Mikey cannot live his true gay life because of Reggie, who I will get into later. So Mikey comes, he's going around the world to recruit people to go to this surfing competition on Pengu Island, and he goes to Shiverpool where Cody lives. And everybody immediately, as soon as Mikey asks if anybody knows how to surf, they're all like, oh, Cody, because it's a small town, everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows that Cody is a little weird. Cody tries to go out to show Mikey that he can surf, and he goes and he's like begging his mom. He wants his mom to come see. He like really wants his mom's approval and support, and he's asking her to like come watch him and support him, and she's like, nah, whatever. He ends up not getting a chance to show off, and the recruiting group leaves, but he goes, screw that, I'm not getting stuck in this small town where people don't accept me. So he swims and manages to get himself on that recruiting whale anyway. And that is where we meet my favorite character in the whole movie, Chicken Joe. Now, Chicken Joe is, in my opinion, Cody's stoner gay lover. The stoner part, that is just, he just is. Now, Chicken Joe, the reason I think he's also queer-coded is because where he was surfing, which was on Lake Michigan, I think it was Sheboygan, he was also ostracized and outcast, and people thought it was weird that he was surfing. Similar to how Cody was ostracized in his community for surfing because they all thought it was weird and out of the norm, and they didn't think that his values were in the right place. Now, when I say Chicken Joe is Cody's stoner gay lover, a lot of you may be like, oh, what about Lonnie, the clear presented love interest? What I have written down here is Cody bi, Lonnie beard, Lonnie compet, or Cody, Lonnie, Chicken Joe, polycule. All of which I think are plausible. Do I think a 2007 movie is going to really put forward a polycule? No, but in my mind I like to imagine. My friend and I did decide that we think Cody is bi, so it is possible that he has attraction to both Chicken Joe and Lonnie, but he is more outwardly expressive in his affection for Lonnie because that's what is accepted in society, and so that's why he's more outwardly pursuing that. But then if you look at the undertones between him and Chicken Joe, you're like, there's something else going on here. And if you're viewing it like in the same lens that I'm viewing it, the whole point of the movie is Cody coming to terms with the fact that he also likes boys. So he's not going to be like, yes, Chicken Joe right from the get, but he would for Lonnie. But in my mind, they're in a polycule. So now we have a new character to introduce into the equation, which is Tank. There are two different schools of thought when it comes to Tank, so I'll explain both of them. First one, Tank is in the closet and projecting his insecurities onto everybody else and overcompensating, which is why he's a jerk. But that's not really my favorite narrative, and it kind of... So rather than being a closeted gay person who can't accept himself, I think I view Tank more as like this stereotypical archetypal cishet like alpha male dude bro, right? And he's trying to impress the ladies, and he's trying to prove that he's the best, and he has this whole superiority complex, and that's why he's a dick. You know, he listens to Andrew Tate. Like, that's the vibe. He's like, oh, I'm so good with the ladies, but he can't actually even get real ladies. His ladies are trophies. It's like the whole idea of viewing women as objects, except for instead of viewing women as objects, he's viewing objects of women because women won't pay attention to him. TLDR, Tank is an alpha male incel, and surfing is his Valorant. Or Overwatch, or insert whatever other sweaty dude bro video game there is. Then we get the first face-off between Cody and Tank, and Cody's like, yeah, I can do this. Now, before they like actually get into the surfing part of their like battle, they exchange some words in which they call each other Pecker Face, which pecker, yeah, like penguin beak, but also pecker like pecker. I'm not going to elaborate on that anymore, but I'm going to jump really quickly to the point where Tank punches Chicken Joe and calls him Cody's girlfriend. Ma'am, that is a hate crime. That is a hate crime. He said, oh, gay? Pop. And I'm gonna misgender you and belittle you. Tank, homophobic. Period. Blatantly committing hate crimes on the beach and punching a gay stoner. Now, obviously, in the battle with Tank, Cody flops. He falls off. It's not a good time. He hits that sea urchin. It's a bad time for everybody. So in my mind, this is him trying to like make the first steps towards coming out, but he gets scared and chokes. He can't like fully come out because he's so used to like not being accepted by people around him, and he's like, oh, blah, 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 and then freaks out. He gets beat up pretty bad. Lonnie comes onto the beach and has to do the whole CPR and then the blah, 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 blah. When Cody has been revived from his near drowning experience, he talks about seeing pixies. Pixies, Now, typically when people are about to pass out, they say they're seeing stars, right? Pixies. Gay people are sometimes called fairies, pixies, not stars? Interesting choice. The next point that I wrote down is just Big Z, gay Yoda. So Big Z is like Cody's idol. He came to Shiverpool when Cody was, I think, like 7. Gave him like a necklace, and he's been his whole inspiration as to like why Cody loves surfing so much. But 10 years prior to this, Big Z was in an accident, like a surfing accident. He crashed in the boneyards and is presumed dead. Now, theory, if we're going back to Cody's first failed surfing attempt being his attempt at taking the first steps towards coming out, then I think that Big Z's apparent faked death also could be related to his own queerness. So the original thought that my friend and I had about Big Z's wipeout was that maybe that was him coming out and not being accepted, or him being outed and then being like, oh God, no. But after watching the movie all the way through, I now more so think that it wasn't necessarily that he was coming out or that he was outed. I think Big Z was ashamed of his queer identity and wasn't ready to be out in the world as gay, so he faked his own death. I literally, what I've written down is Big Z afraid to come out, so he faked his death. He was like, I'm not even gonna try. I'm removing myself from the equation. I don't want to deal with the backlash of this, so I'm just gonna go hide in the closet, aka this big tree in the middle of nowhere that only my niece knows where I am. Back to the niece. Lonnie. Lonnie is an ally. Lonnie is not gay herself, but she is an ally. She saves Cody after he wipes out on the beach. She clocks his ass. She clocks him and she's like, okay, this is a bisexual boy in denial. My uncle, also in denial. Let me work some ally magic. Let me work some magic. And I'm gonna bring this little gay boy to my uncle, and then maybe they can help each other out and help each other accept their own like identities, so that they can be comfortable being out and they don't have to be ashamed of themselves, and they can finally like live their true life. So then Lonnie drags Cody out into the woods and brings him to Geek, which is, you know, Big Z. I also have written down that Geek equals gay Zeke. When Cody's feeling better, he starts to make his way back to the beach, but then he's like, ugh. And he says at around 29 minutes and 15 seconds, he goes, can't go back to the beach, can't go home, right? So now he's like, okay, I don't feel like I'm gonna be, I know I'm not accepted at home, and I've like fucked up already, and I don't think I'll be accepted at the beach either. He's like afraid, he doesn't feel like he's safe to be himself anywhere anymore. So he's like, oh God, right? Cody had lost his like Big Z necklace in the tree. So he like stopped walking back, and then eventually Zeke caught back up with him, gave him his necklace, and then they're like, oh, well, Zeke was like, well, I'll show you how to make a surfboard and blah, 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 blah. So then this goes into the whole gay Yoda training arc. I do also quickly want to mention the subplot of Chicken Joe's love-driven quest to find Cody. He's known Cody for approximately 1 day, and yet he has made it his life's goal to find him after Lonnie drags him off into the woods, because he's like, oh my God, like, what the fuck is that noise? Because he's like, oh my God, like, you want me to be without my bestie gay lover? No, I don't think so. Chicken Joe is also quoted as saying, we have a lot in common, in reference to Cody. And the things that I wrote down that they have in common is eating dads and gayness. Also in this quest to find his lover, Chicken Joe is constantly being chased by cannibals. It is a little bit of a problematic stereotype, but I'm just gonna set that part aside for now. Chicken Joe is so blinded by love and being high that he just doesn't realize that these cannibals are trying to eat him. They like have him in a soup pot boiling, getting ready. They're like chucking like carrots in there to go, like chicken carrot soup, right? And he's just like, yummy, and then he ends up like becoming besties with the cannibal, whatever. Chicken Joe's subplot is wild. Back onto the main plot line, Cody has finally managed to get Big Z out of this tree and back onto the beach where all of Big Z's like surfing stuff is. And Lonnie is like, oh my God, I've been trying to get him back onto this beach for 10 years and he just refuses and you did it. And I'm like, yes, because gay people, you know. While on this beach, Big Z teaches Cody how to loosen up and eventually teaches him like how to surf. And Cody is also in a way like teaching Zeke how to be comfortable with himself, yada, yada, yada. Now, Big Z, Lonnie, Cody, found family arc. For sure. Such a cute little family unit, just helping each other out. It's adorable. I love it so much. Now, during this little training era that these two have going on, Cody is trying to get Zeke to come out onto the water and to teach him how to surf in the water because Zeke refuses to get in the water. And at approximately 39 minutes and 40 seconds, we get the quote, "I'm not coming in until you come out." Training sequence done. Cody is ready. He is feeling good about himself. He is ready to go back out onto that beach and enter the surfing competition, i.e., he is ready to come out. He's all good to go. He got all his shit figured out and he's like, yes, I can do this now. And he really wants Zeke to go with him. He's like, look, hey Zeke, I'm going back onto this beach. I think you should come with me. I think it is time that you also, you know, show the people that you're not dead. Like, you're still here and, you know, come back into society and be yourself. And Zeke is like, I'm not ready yet. And it goes back into his whole like backstory thing. It even says like during his backstory thing that's talking about like why he's leaving, there's the quote, times have changed. Times have changed is also just like a very typical quote when referring to queer folk in society versus like, you know, oh, it's just like back in their day, like they didn't know, like things like, it's a very typical like trope, right? But Cody's like, okay, I'm not gonna hold myself back. I'm gonna go back onto the beach. I'm gonna, you know, do the thing that I came to do. So he goes back to the competition, plans to enter, whatever. As soon as he gets there, that gay ass little bird is like, no, like he's like trying to protect him. The gay bird is like, no, stop, like, please, like, don't do this to yourself. Don't, because he doesn't want Cody to get ridiculed, but Cody's like, nah. There's so much noise. But Cody's like, nah, I'm here, I'm doing my thing now. I'm not gonna let anybody stand in the way of me. Like, he's ready. So Cody enters the surfing competition and he does really well and he ends up in the top 3 with Tank, Chicken Joe, and himself. Now, he is on track to win because in the first wave of the finals, Tank tries to sabotage Cody and Cody's like able to deflect and then Tank just kind of like wipes out and gets no points for that first round. Then we get to the second wave and Cody and Chicken Joe are just doing their thing, having a fun time on the wave, and then Tank drops in, of course, and tries to freaking ruin everything. Now, I think in that moment, Cody realizes that what is more important to him is not winning or appealing to what society expects of him. He's like, no, I need to be true to myself and to my friends. I cannot be bothered with what other people think of me. He comes in and he gets Tank out of Chicken Joe's way. Chicken Joe wins, right? And then Tank and Cody go into this whole fight kind of scene in the boneyard. They both wipe out. Tank gets rescued by Lonnie, whatever, who cares. Zeke then is there at his little shrine thing and he saved Cody from the boneyards. Now, in the background of the whole surfing competition situation, Zeke is like hiding in the trees watching. And I think like seeing Cody being able to be open and true to himself, he's like, okay, I can be open and true to myself. So when he saves Cody, They both come back onto the shore together, and Big Z's like, well, I wrote down 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 40 seconds big coming out moment. This is where like Reggie is talking some bullshit that I'll explain in a second, and then Big Z and Cody come up, and it's like, oh, Zeke is coming out as not dead / gay, and Cody is also being like, I also think that the whole premise of the Big Z memorial and just like Reggie's kind of whole thing with like, oh my god, Cody died in the boneyard after fighting Tank and his surfboard washed up, oh my god, it's a relic, money, is kind of an example of like rainbow washing, like profiting off of queer people without actually providing them with any resources or showing them any kind of support at all, because Reggie doesn't do that. He just kind of profits off of them. After Zeke and Cody are revealed as alive, everybody is so excited, and they're like, screw this surfing competition, let's go over to like the other side of the island with this like swell and just like have fun and surf and not worry about like trying to appease the masses or the corporations or they're just like. On the way over to the other beach, the interviewers stop Cody and Chicken Joe, and they're like, that was a great like thing that you did for Chicken Joe, sacrificing like the wind so that you could help him out. And they're like, yeah, what are friends for? And I'm like, yeah, what are friends for? I wrote down, historians will call them best friends. They may be best friends, but they are also gay for each other. Okay, then we do get this other little tidbit right at the end with the interview with Cody's mom and brother after finding out that he gets like second place, and Cody's mom was like, oh my god, it's so awesome, like he won, and his brother's like, and then his mom was like, shut up, like why can't you be more like Cody? And his mom is going on and on about like how proud she is, and his brother goes, yeah, we're so full of proudness. Oh, you're proud? You're so full of proudness? You're so full of pride for your son, your gay little son, your little bi son. All right, so those are my notes about why Surf's Up is a gay allegory. Really, if you just watch the whole thing and you just keep in the back of your mind that it's a queer movie, it becomes blatantly obvious. So I suggest you just go take a look at it for yourself. If there's any other, random movies that you'd like me to look and figure out if they are queer coded or not, let me know. I'll take a look at them. Why not? But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, go stream Surf's Up 2007. Shout out to those fruity little penguins. All right, goodbye.